Hello there, welcome to the channel. So this is just an introduction to what's going to be happening here. So basically I have a unit and a car and some other cool things, and this is kind of just going to be videos on stuff that I'm doing. So yeah, so I'll show you a little bit about what the kind of plans are, a few projects that are going on, and yeah, stay tuned. Right, so this is my E46. It is a C30i with the old Manuel. You'll love to see it. So, plans for this car at the moment are, I've already got the wheels and stuff off, drop the subframe, do the subframe reinforcements. I don't think this car is bad, but they do tend to suffer from that, so we'll just err on the side of caution, get that out of the way, and then some other bits. Go around here, and you see other wheels off, did some cleaning up, it's actually turned out okay, but there's some bad bits as you can see. Hoping that surface, but I'll find out soon with a hammer and screwdriver. And the other project we've got is these. So these are Porsche 996 BBS Sport Classic 2s. So they're on the GT3 or just come on the 996 911 as a kind of GT3 body kit option. So be hopefully refurbing them. But as you can see, started on this one, but these bolts are a fucking nightmare to take out. So every single one is just rimmed in or snapping the head. So being 2-piece wheels though, I think if the head snap, should be able to just smash this middle bit out and it'll be fine. So that's the plan. But firstly, let's get the subframe out. So I've got the exhaust to take off. I've got a Scorpion exhaust. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but where the exhaust, pretty much where the exhaust joins to the manifold, the bolts are crusty and not going to come out. So I've got an angle grinder, just going to cut the bolts off, drop the exhaust, and hopefully sell that because we've got another exhaust in mind. And then yeah, drop the subframe from there. So let's get on with it. Welcome, you join me under the car. So this pipe going up the way, that connects to the exhaust manifold, and that just connects to the rest of the exhaust that goes to the back of the car. So this has the slip joints on it there that you can see. I've taken them off, but that bit there where the slip joint goes over and secures is rusted beyond belief, so that's not coming off, and we need to get this off anyway. So we've got one bolt there which I've cut off, like cut the head off the bolt there, or the nut, I forgot, whatever side it is. Same with that one, so these two sides should be okay. This, what is it, this one here, this one at the back, you can see there's a hole there. That's because the head's just snapped completely off. And the last bolt, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, is up here. Now, the nut's completely rounded. It'll focus, it won't. And where are you? That guy is also completely rounded. So I don't know what the plan is, but I'm just lying under the car thinking. So I'm going to do some more thinking, and hopefully it'll be off the next time you see this.
12 seconds later.
There, you can see a bit better there with the light on. Come on. Look at the fucking state of that. So that's the, obviously, nut. They're meant to be threads. Evidently they aren't. And the bolt, which doesn't actually look that bad. So I might try again if I just hit that with impact. Hopefully it'll just snap and the exhaust should pull right out, but I pretty doubtful. This thing has been on for a while apparently, so let's give it a go.
15 minutes later.
Right, progress is somewhat being made. So we've got 3 bolts out, both these ones are out. Just the bugger up there that's not coming out, and the bolt is just refusing to snap. That is what I have resorted to, in case you didn't guess. So the entire exhaust, well, it's on the jack, but I've had it off the jack. The entire exhaust is held on by this one fucking bitch up here. So I'm just going to keep ragdolling the exhaust until that snaps, and then we'll be plain sailing. This has been a fucking nightmare.
Many unbearable hours later.
Well, update on the exhaust. I've been doing this for about 45 minutes and halfway through the bolt, so I promise you this was my last resort. But it's kind of getting there. I promise this is my last resort though, I'm not just a fucking idiot. Angle grinder can't reach it, don't have a recip saw, and I don't know. So I'll be back when this is fucking done. See you in an hour.
Much, much, much later.
Oh, what a wonderfully painful moment. It's finally fucking snapped. That guy there, fuck you. Look at the state of the threads, by the way. Oh, right, so I have spent, I don't even know, an hour and a half with the little hacksaw, getting in that because it's the only thing that reach. Finally, cut it a lot, probably, well, you can see where I cut it to, and then just pry barred it, and the bolt exploded, so thank God for that. Oh, and there's what's left of the gasket, so good. Wonderful. Right, let's escape this and then let's actually I can explain whilst I'm here. So this shiny stuff here is obviously the exhaust heat shield. It just protects your gearbox and then driveline, so prop shaft in this case, from obviously heat from the exhaust. So we've got to just take that off, which should be simple enough. Should just be some bolts or nuts, blah blah blah, and then we'll have a prop shaft here, and there should be 6 bolts at the end. So under them, the prop shaft should fall down, which just leaves the subframe isolated on its own. So we can just take that down then. I think that's it. That should be it. So let's escape whatever the fuck is happening here. It has been 3 days. The exhaust mentally scarred me, but we're here. The exhaust did not come off. That last bolt was a nightmare. It was pretty impossible to reach, so there's basically no access to it, so I couldn't grinder it off or anything. And the head and nut were both just rusted beyond belief. So I spent about an hour and a half with a hacksaw. Well, I say a hacksaw, the hacksaw blade in my hand. Spent about an hour and a half and then cut it down to a point where I was able to just basically ragdoll it off with the pry bar. So exhaust came off and that is now sold, which is great news. So we've got another exhaust in mind. I'm quite a fan of the M3 exhaust. How it's got the 4 tips, obviously compared to, well, oh my god, right, shock. The exhaust isn't there because it's off the car, right. But normally on the 3 or any E46, as far as I'm aware, it's just got 2 exhausts, like a kind of shotgun setup. So we're gonna try and go for the M3 style, which has obviously got the 4 exhaust pipes, and it should sound a bit better. So we'll do that. So exhaust gone. Next step to getting the subframe off to do the reinforcement is we've got to drop the heat shields off, which shouldn't be too difficult. I think it's just maybe 6, under 10 anyway. 10mm bolts, which should come off fairly easily, I'm hoping. And then we've got the drive shaft that goes from the gearbox to the diff. should just be 6 bolts on the on the diff. That drive shaft will drop down, and then pretty much the rear subframe is going to be isolated from the rest of the car. So at which point we'll be able to take out the rear trailing arm bolts. So there's 3 of them each side. They just hold up that rear arm pretty much. And yeah, then it'll just be the 4 subframe bolts. So let's get on with getting the heat shields off and see where we're there. So I'm under the car at the moment, and we'll see this metal corrugated looking thing is the heat shield. So there's the drive shaft to diff coupler I was talking about. So it's got 6 of these Torx T40 bolts, and then this whole thing should just come down the way, sit on the floor. So that's fine, but to get to that we need to get this guy out and multiple other bolts. I'll just have to find them, but yeah, they're literally just, by the looks of it, 10mm bolts, and they don't look too rusty, so they should hopefully come out easily. And this spans pretty much the entirety of the car, gearbox back, just to protect the chassis and components and whatnot from any heat from the exhaust. So you can see where the exhaust plates were. So we've got 2 holes here, so there's like 2 exhaust kind of plates that just kind of support it with rubber bushings on them. So one that goes along here, and you see the other side, yeah, and then one that goes here along there, and that holds it with the bushings on. So we will get, it look a bit crusty, but I think it's just a mixture of heat and surface rust, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And then we'll get, yeah, so we'll get the heat shield off and then see where we are then. I've also just noticed, so from the back here, let's see, so if you can see above, just above that braided line there, we'll see how rusty that brake line is. And I was under the impression that I was going to have to replace the entire line, because you can see it here is pretty bad. Do you know what, it's probably okay, it's probably just surface rust, but whilst I'm here I thought I would change it. But in fact, it looks like it's had possibly a previous repair before. So you can see here, these are the factory stainless lines, which would normally, I think, just run through and there wouldn't be a connector here. So these would just go straight from here to each corner, each rear corner. But yeah, should be able to replace these bits onwards, which is fantastic news. Love to see that. And I'll just show you on the rear of the car as well, these exhaust shields here that you can see. I've just pulled this one off. They also serve quite a good purpose of keeping the car clean, in the sense that they don't like prevent the car from kind of rusting. So you can see where it's been, that's obviously solid, and then around where the holes are, obviously that stud's a bit crusty, but like around where the holes are, you can see obviously where it's not been protecting it from kind of just road grit and all that stuff, where it's a bit crusty. I mean, that's all still solid, but yeah. So that's where the exhaust hanger goes, and that's quite crispy, but I think as well from the feel of it, it's just surface, so good. Oh dear, that feels a bit. Hello. So I've skipped forward a bit, and the subframe's out on the floor, but I'll quickly show you what I did. And yeah, I didn't film much because I just wanted to get it done and it was annoying me. So right, so as you can see, subframe's out on the floor over there. So first step was get the prop off. Ideally it would have come off the diff face, but it's stuck on there just with years of, I guess, corrosion and whatnot. So I just dropped the entire prop in to do that. So we've got this centre bearing holder. It's just 2 13s, and then that should fall. For some reason someone's fucking tiger sealed mine on, but that came off easy enough. And then you've got three bolts here and nuts, 18mm bolt, and then 18mm nut. You can fit I just fit a 3/8 socket up between that, and that's, I think, the easiest way to do it. And then that just kind of pulls off this shaft, and then that's it free. I think this is called officially a guibo or something, but we're going to call it a donut because it's a circle with a hole. and yeah, looks like a donut. So that off, centre thing off, and then after that all you need to make sure you do is remove the handbrake cables from the inside of the car. So you can see these channels here. So you've got like two like handbrake cables that go through here up to the bottom of your handbrake. That's just 10mm nut. So take them off, and then just get like vice grips or adjustable wrench, anything like that, and wiggle and pull at the same time, and they come out easy enough. Then obviously unclip them from these two plastic bits here. Actually, just while I remember, I will show you this because this caught me out almost. So you'll see these two, I'm going to get you a better angle. See these two square kind of channels here? So that's where your two cables come up. Normally got these two nuts on the end, and obviously when you pull your, shoot down, but when you pull your handbrake up, that basically pulls the cables, which then pulls your brakes, your handbrake on. So what you need to make sure on these is, you can see the holes are square, but the actual cable has like a square kind of section on the end. You need to make sure that's sitting in there, rather than it can be like kind of twisted a little bit and catch on this if you try to pull it out. Because I was pulling for ages and nothing was happening, so I checked this and sure enough it was off at an angle, so it was stopping it pulling out. But if they're both lined in, it comes out quite easy actually, so just be wary of that. And then the only other thing you've got to do is this headlight level sensor, I believe, which obviously just adjusts, like it detects if you've got a load of weight in the boot, and if so the rear end's squatting more, it'll lift the headlights up or dip them down, just so you don't blind people. But just that, and then you've got, where's that metal brace, that guy there, too much, that metal guy there, which is, I think it's like a front diff reinforcement frame. So that's got 2 bolt holes here, which commonly you reinforce as well. So 2 bolts here, 2 bolts there, and then that's just held on with the same nuts as the actual subframe. So at the front of the car, which is this side, we've got 2 2 bolts, or studs if you will, that one and that one, which have just got an 18mm nut on them. You just zing off and that's fine. And then at the back up there, it's just a standard bolt, but it's also an 18, and yeah, that's pretty much all you need to remove to get the subframe out. So to get it actually out, what I did, I had the jack under the diff, which is quite hard to balance, but I had the jack under the diff, dropped all these bolts down, and then just lowered it slowly. The back comes off fine obviously because it's just like a hole there, there's no stud there, but the fronts can kind of be a wee bit difficult, so you might need to jiggle it a little bit, but came out that easy. It's not too heavy, the whole assembly, I don't know, maybe 110 kilos or something. So I mean, you can try deadlift it or bench it if you want, but it's a lot easier just dragging it in the jack, but you can still move it around and stuff. So yeah, and then when the cables, handbrake cables, you normally just take them out of the diff. That's what you can see here, this one and this one. They just come out of the diff, but just make sure that they come through this channel fine. There's a little hole on the other side. Make sure they come through this channel fine, and they don't get bound up and stuff like that. But overall, it's not too difficult. And then obviously just make sure your calipers, I've just left mine on so I don't have to like bleed it from empty pretty much. Make sure these are just kind of out the way and not getting crushed by all the trailer arms. Kind of like to fall down on top of these, but yeah, that's enough. That's pretty much us. So, and you can see the trailer arm pockets here. Just 3 bolts there, 3 bolts on the other side, and that's pretty much it. Well, that's been the first video of hopefully many on the BMW E46 project. So subframe out, tick. So next on the list, and the next episode is going to be tearing down the rear subframe. Need to get new bushings and stuff like that for it, and then cleaning up the rear axle carrier panel, which is a common thing on these for them to crack. Mine actually looks okay just from a brief look, but you can see there's surface rust and stuff, so we'll clean that all up anyway. I'll show you how to do it on a sort of budget. If you've got an E46 and you've looked into this, you've probably seen Redish Motorsports doing it on YouTube, and they do it to like a concourse factory kind of factory condition. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be protected and painted. I don't really care if it looks that good. It just needs to be solid. So yeah, that was more difficult than I thought, but only because of rust and a few corroded bolts and stuff like that. Overall, it's not that complicated or difficult, so anyone could do it. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.